Greetings, salutations, and welcome to SportsLook, the sports television program for the high plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and just like a Loverboy song from the 1980s, everybody in athletics is working for the weekend, so we're going to have Byron Pruitt. He's going to be in action track and field-wise this weekend. We're going to have Aaron Johnson, the events coordinator from Eastern Athletics. He's obviously going to be involved this weekend. I'll finish up with an overtime, but as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. The Greyhound men's basketball team was hoping to go through the entire regular season without losing a single road game, but unfortunately on Saturday, Kingsville got the better of them by 8 points. For the Greyhound women's basketball team, they were down 3 to Kingsville on Saturday with 30 seconds to go in the game, scored the last 4 points of the contest, got a 1-point win. Both of those teams will finish up the regular season at home on Saturday against Angelo State. For the Greyhound baseball team, they played 4 competitive games against the University of Texas, Dallas. Unfortunately, they dropped all 4 of those contests. And 2 up and 2 down for Greyhound softball. Greyhound softball team did lose a doubleheader to Oklahoma Christian, but they swept Cameron University. Well, it has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear this out and we'll bring in our first guest, Byron Pruitt from Greyhound Track and Field, right now. Welcome back to SportsLook, and a privilege to bring to the set of SportsLook a guy from Greyhound Track and Field, Byron Pruitt. And Byron, welcome to SportsLook.
Thank y'all for having me.
First and foremost, where are you from and what was the process that got you to the track squad here at Eastern?
So I'm originally from San Bernardino, California. I lived in Moreno Valley, California. I went to school in Riverside, California. I did my 2 years there, and then I ended up transferring here to Eastern because of track and field. I ran track at Riverside, and it was a good opportunity to be able to uptake the offer. Any other school around me wasn't offering me much, but Eastern was, and then just to be able to get out of the state and like travel and see different things, I thought that was cool too. So I ended up taking the opportunity, and here I am.
Well, was track and field your only sport growing up, or did you play other sports and track and field just became your best sport?
I grew up playing football, and then like once I got to high school, I transitioned from like football to basketball and then track. I was mainly a football guy. I wasn't on the big side, though. I was kind of little, so I was always getting banged up. And then towards like the end of my sophomore, junior year of high school, I was kind of like, this football stuff ain't for me. Like, I'm tired of getting beat up. So I just transitioned from football to track, and then I just stuck to track. And then everything happened with like COVID and stuff, so like it kind of pushed everything back. But I ended up getting a chance to continue it at the JUCO level and then going from there. So yeah.
So at what age were you introduced to the hurdles?
I think I was like 19, 20. I did it at my junior college. I didn't run it in high school because we didn't have a hurdle coach. It's a new experience. It's very different than just flat sprints.
Well, that is astounding because you're obviously really good at it. I mean, based on your JUCO experience and what you've done here at Eastern, and you didn't start hurdling when you were in 7th grade.
No, it was my freshman year of junior college. So yeah.
So why did your JUCO coach think that you had the potential to be a hurdler?
I'm glad you asked. I was talking about this with some of my homies back home. So basically, with my JUCO coach was like, we had a big team, so he was like, some of us need to kind of like spread out, like be diverse. And like I was a short sprinter at the time because like I jumped and I did short sprints in high school. So transitioning over, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just short sprint and jump. But my JUCO coach was like, nah, like I think you'll be good for the 400 hurdles. So I was like, I don't know if that's for me. So we had a meet at the University of Fullerton is like my first hurdle meet. It's like all the D1 colleges there, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm geeked. I'm like, yeah, I'm finna go crazy. So I ended up running like a minute 10 in the 400 hurdles, and I'm like, it's not for me. I had
We'll
like,
point out that that's not exactly Olympic pace.
yeah, I mean, like it's people walking that. So then like after the meet, like I was like, yeah, like that was hard. That was like the hardest race of my life. But then like something told me like to keep going, keep pushing. And then like towards the end of the season, I ended up running like 59 at conference and everything. So I was like, I'm gonna just stick with it. And then it kind of sound cool telling people I run the 400 hurdles because they're like, oh my gosh, like you're so brave. Like no one does that, and it's just like, well, I mean, it's just another event like everything else. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, back in the 1900s, Edwin Moses and guys like that, I mean, we were really good. And then for the last 20 years or so, Americans really haven't done on them well. So I can see why people were thinking this is pretty exotic that you're doing this event.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm just grateful to be able to take on the opportunity to run and just represent for a lot of people.
So did you run like the 100 and 200 in high school, and did you high jump or long jump?
Long, it was like sectioned out, so I would start the meet jumping, and then like all the other events would go. So like I jump to like get warmed up, and then I go run, and I come back, finish jumping, and then go run again. So that's basically how I did it.
So at what age did you realize that you were faster than most of the people that you were going to school with?
I'd probably say after my freshman year and junior college, like coming back that summer, I was like, I really can put down a serious time if I like stick to it. And then just kind of started clicking for me, and then I just stuck to it. I started becoming a student of the game. Like, was watching a lot of hurdle videos, a lot of hurdlers, men and women. Listening to a lot of coaches, like a lot of drilling, just doing stuff on the side that I wasn't doing at practice, basically. And I think that kind of helped me over time.
Well, that'll get you a long way in life if you can learn on your own. So
Yes, sir.
let's talk about your association with the world of sports. Did sports run in your family? No pun intended. Did it run in your family, or were you kind of just like friends convinced you to go out?
Yeah. So like, my pops ran track. He played football. Um, I think my mom hooped. I probably got to ask her again. Everyone on my dad's side played sports or was in like stunt or cheer. Everybody on my mom's side played basketball, and then like us growing up, football, basketball, track, and cheer, and then yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your Southern California experience. We were talking before I went on the air about the fact that
Yeah.
we used to live in communities that were neighbors. I lived in Redlands, California, which is right next door to Moreno Valley.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you miss most about Southern California?
So I stayed up in the canyons. It's like up in the mountain area. I kind of miss the donkeys. Like it's just free roaming donkeys. Like they come up, eat your grass, like pooping your lawn type. I used to feed them too, and like my pops would be like, "Don't feed them because then they'll come back." And then I think it was one time I had came home late from work and it was like a herd of them outside, and I remember feeding one, and then I turned around and there's like 20 of them. So I was like, maybe I should listen to my old man. So yeah.
No, that's interesting. I remember driving. Moreno Valley used to have a dollar movie theater, and I'd take my boys to dollar movie, and we'd drive over to Crafton Hills, and we'd see the wild burros on there.
Yeah.
So kind of miss that.
Yeah. Other than that, like the beach is cool. Um, Friends and family mostly is what I miss, but they know that I have a bright future and I'm doing it to better myself. So they support me in everything, and I appreciate them for that.
We talked a little bit about the fact that finances had something to do with your decision to come to Eastern, but if you didn't click with the head coach, you probably wouldn't have come, even though it was a financially better deal. So, What was it about Coach Harden that convinced you wanted to come run track and field for Eastern?
Um, I was under the impression that I would improve, which I have improved. And at my junior college, I had a coach. Like, I just felt like I wasn't getting like the coaching that I needed. So being able to talk to Coach Harden and get the opportunity from Coach Harden, like he really told me what the expectations would be and how I should be running. And I ended up meeting those expectations and running how he basically told me I should be running. And it just worked out for me.
So, what was the high point of your junior year, your first year here at Eastern?
I would say coming under the impression that I'd probably be the only 400 hurdler again. Um, it was like that at my junior college. Like everyone was hurdling, but it was kind of like I was like kind of up there. Um, I'd probably say like just training was probably like my biggest thing. Like I was on a different regiment than everyone, but like being able to come together with everyone at the end of practice or like during meets and just be like, hey, like I'm still here too. Like we all hurdlers. At the end of the day, I'm just doing it longer. Um, that's kind of like that was kind of like my biggest thing. So yeah.
So, who's your best friend on the team?
Um, everyone's my best friend, but the people that I usually click with is Strahan Radakovich.
He's
Me and
a
him,
high hurdler. Yeah.
yeah, me and him are pretty close. Like I'm learning a lot from him, whether it's his culture or his language or like just the way to operate things. We study together. Like we're students of the game. We're always talking about track. Like we're always competing. We're always at each other's heads. It's just like it's like rivalry, but it's like friendly, and it's kind of like that's been kind of good for me because like I can relate to someone like that, and like I can have someone like that to push me at the end of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, very nice young man. He was actually one of my guests last year on SportsLook, so had the privilege. Let's talk about you as a student. What are you majoring in?
Right now I'm majoring in criminal justice, and then I have a minor in sociology.
What do you hope to do with your degree?
I'm looking to become a cop. Currently, I'm a PSA at the police department here. I'm looking to just expand my knowledge and understanding of law enforcement. I'm really big about like being able to help the community and give back to the community. So to be in a position that I am right now as a PSA, like I want to use that, and then like once the time comes, I'll transition to the academy, and then from there just become a cop. So everything like just runs smoother.
Do you want to go back to Moreno Valley and be a policeman there?
I mean, it's kind of expensive in California,
Yeah.
so it's not on the list. But like, if push comes to shove, then yeah.
I always ask my students, what's been your favorite class at Eastern?
I'll probably say my favorite class was the anthropology class and the forensic science class because before the criminal justice degree, I was a forensic science major. I just got burnt out with the science, so I was like, I just got to switch it. But the forensic science and the anthropology were like cool. Like you get to learn about the history of bones, like all these different animals, and like with forensic science, like you get to learn about how like people can die from like certain things or like stuff you don't see on TV, like stuff like that. So all that's like very interesting to me.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck this weekend as the Lone Star Conference Championship. So, best of luck in the competition in Albuquerque.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment. So, we'll clear this out and we're going to bring in Aaron Johnson right now. Welcome back to SportsLook, and a privilege to bring to the set of SportsLook one of the most important people at ENMU Athletics, Aaron Johnson. Aaron, welcome to SportsLook.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much.
First question, Aaron, where are you from, and what was the process that got you here at Eastern?
Yeah, it's a roundabout, but I grew up in north central Montana on Highway 2 there. A lot of people would call it South Canada, but I'm pretty sure it's still within the United States. But really, what I had done is through college, played a little bit of college football, and then got into the golf business. And I knew being a Montana in the golf business didn't really equal. So I've been down in the southwest since then. I got to meet some people in the golf business, and one of them was Mike Ketchum, and he and I ended up working at University of Arizona as well. So I was in the golf business for a little bit. Got into a car accident, which kind of put me into a spot where I went back to school and got my master's in sports management. And then fortunately had a friend at University of Arizona, and he had me come on down and paid me absolutely nothing for a long time to sell tickets. But he put me in the ticket office, and I really enjoyed getting to know the fans. So I knew I was in the right spot. But I got to know some people there. From there, I kind of bounced around like a lot of people do in this transient world of college athletics and professional sports. But one of my friends that I met at Arizona had worked with Kevin Feit, our athletic director, and I had saw that job opening. It was exactly what I wanted to do, and I wanted to get back to a community, Doc. I wanted to be in a community that embraced the facilities, the environment, the team, the atmosphere, the energy, however that looks. So with that coming up, I felt real strong about being here. So I called up Mike Ketch and talked to him a little bit about it, and he put in a good word for me, and came out and interviewed, and fortunately was offered the position from Kevin. I got here about middle of August, and then got started about a week before the first game. And actually, one of the first people I ever saw here was you and your wife. I was in Walmart early one Saturday or Sunday morning, and you were there.
Well,
I knew it had to be you. There was a guy there. I was like, he still had all the gear on. But anyways, that's how I got here.
well, Aaron, did you come from an athletic family, or did you just develop a love for sports independent of family connections?
Yeah, I did. My dad was a small guy, but he was an all-state guard for football. I mean, I don't think he was ever over 150 pounds, but pretty tough guy. Then I had five uncles too who continuously challenged me physically. So there was no gimme wins in that world, whether it was Nerf basketball or any type of football, tossing or basketball. 21, we played a lot of 21, but zero. Never was gifted a win, Doc. But again, and track, wrestling, and football were real big in that community, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get into all those. Played, like I said, played a little college football and got into golf. So have I been around sports all my life? I wouldn't know any different. I'm in the right spot.
Where did you play your college ball?
Rocky Mountain College. It's an NAIA school in Billings, Montana.
Yeah. There you go. What position did you play?
I was a quarterback.
Right on.
Yeah, well, I was. I also was fast, kinda. I was probably faster than the kids on my team, but I didn't play a ton. I returned a kick one time. I returned it almost to a score. It was like 20-yard line. Then I fumbled the next one. That was it for college football. I ended up separating my shoulder after that whatever reason I was trying to ski, and that was that. So that was kind of the end of my college football career. I went to the University of Montana. My friends, the guys I was living with, were golf pros, and I'd go out and hang out with them and hit a couple balls, and I just kind of picked it up. And so it was very fortunate to be able to hit all of these different sports. And the avenues of where I've been is I'm real appreciative of it.
Well, it does sound like you've seen sports from every different perspective, which seems to position you well for what you do here at Eastern.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've seen it. I mean, I was at the XFL. We were in the Vegas Vipers. I worked for flag football after professional flag football. That was going to be a thing, and I think it still will be. But the NFL kind of owns that. College athletics, professional baseball is probably where I learned a lot of my chops, just because every day it was something different, a new promotion, and something different, and you had to be on your toes if there was an injury and some big time pitcher was coming in. You really had to maximize that situation. So yeah, I'm incredibly grateful for my journey.
I was just going to say your services are going to be highly sought after here in a couple of years because if memory serves me, one of the sports we're adding for the Olympics is flag football.
It is, right, yeah, and that was kind of I get where it was the AAFL, and they were looking at that, but the NFL, if you've seen recently, I kind of saw coming down the pipe when I saw a bunch of commercials on Monday Night Football for flag football. I was like,
That's true.
that's going to be a tough market, but I'm really happy what we did with that. We ended up selling out before we even played. We sold out all of our games in Las Vegas, so great. I'd say Las Vegas is a great sports town, but sometimes it's a challenge. But yeah, I was real fortunate. Met some great people. Did a lot of great things. You learn a little different in Las Vegas on how to sell, but it's brutal. You're up. You might be the 11. You might be top 10 in something that is that weekend. I remember being up against the NCAA's and Taylor Swift and some other things on an opening day for the Vipers. It was brutal. We still did well, okay, though.
Well, Aaron, I talked about the fact you're one of the main people with Eastern Athletics. What's your official job title?
I am a senior associate athletic director for external affairs. I would break it down to that I'm responsible for kind of everything that you see. I would say that people that come into the game, all the partnerships that you see, those are my responsibilities. Outside events are my responsibilities as well. But all these things come down to a team effort. We have a great team as well. Everyone's kind of takes a piece of what these events are, what our projects are, and really dives in, rolls up the sleeves, and gets after it. So it's a great team that Kevin has put together.
Well, Aaron, we have a very exciting Saturday ahead of us. Yeah. It is the last regular season game of the year for Greyhound men and women, senior day, and a lot's riding on the line for both teams.
Oh man, you said that really well. I think our men are positioned to really. They're going to go a little ways in these tournaments. Our expectations, at least. The guys play really well. They're a great team, cohesive. The women, I think, are looking at getting to the national tournament. So this last game is super important for their success. I couldn't be happier for them. I feel real fortunate coming into this environment the way we are right now. Both basketball teams are hitting on all cylinders. They're playing really well. I get to watch their practices a little bit too, Doc. As you get to see some of those, and you can see how hard they're coached, how hard they play, how much they love each other, and it shows on the floor too. So I feel real fortunate to be a part of what's going on there right now.
I talked a little bit with Blake Huber, and Blake said that, people will come out if you're winning, but I've seen this win, and I've never seen crowds like we have now. And I think a lot of it, I'm not just saying because you're here as my guest, but you've got really cool reasons for people to want to go out and watch Greyhound basketball.
Thank you, Doc. So I am used to that, and that's my baseball side coming out. I'm going to talk to everybody to see if they want to come out. We really hit the youth market very hard. The youth, the teachers, some of our sponsors like DFA, they really support what we're trying to do. But what I want to, winning and losing should not be a part of that. It should be the game. It should be the atmosphere, the food, your friends. All of that is what comes to me as a game. Winning and losing is important to Blake because that's all he sees. But what he doesn't know is how much we put into getting folks out there. When we put out a lot of emails, and I know people know mine. When I get introduced to someone, they're like, "Oh, you're Aaron," like, because my messaging is pretty strong, and I'm not going to ever lay off. We're going to always push, and I'm not satisfied, Doc. We're probably kind of about half where we want to be. I talk to the guys that have been around here for 30 and 40 years, and they talk about the upstairs being, I don't want to call it SRO, but there's a lot of those seats are taken. And I'm going to bring it back to that. It might take a minute. It might take 2 minutes, but we'll get there. We'll get there. And this community is right for it.
What's been your biggest success of all the promos that you have created? What do you think has been the standout for this season?
Well, I think if we look at, there's a lot of different metrics we can look at this, but let's take a look at the community metrics of entertainment, fun, excitement was the kids' game. Hopefully we continue with that. In my experience, we've always had like one kids' game, and we were fortunate to have one here, and we had one think it was December 8th.
I remember it well.
And we kind of pieced it together, and there, a lot of the people aren't used to being structured in the way I want to have our events. So the teachers did respond. We had close to 3,000 people in that. We also took a sound, I can't remember the decibels. We measured the decibels, and we were about 108, which Seattle, the Seattle Seahawks come at about 115. So we were right there. My ears rang the next day. So I want to do that, but I also want to give megaphones next time. So be prepared.
Well, Aaron, we will encourage people to come out Saturday, senior day, a lot riding on the line. We're running out of time, but we will put in the pitch that we also have baseball and softball, and so a lot of reasons to come out.
ENMU athletics right now, I think we're hitting on all cylinders. Our basketball teams are playing incredibly well. They're representing the community the way they should. They're going into the LCS conference tournament strong. Baseball and softball, this is the last year that those are free sports as well. So get out there, support these guys. Also, we got the spring games coming out on the 10th. Actually, on the 10th, we're looking at working with the Portales Chamber to do an event in the square before on the that Saturday, the next day, April 11th is our spring game, Doc. So I know you know that, but that's going to be it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very entertaining. We're got Coach Bryles going to bring his kids out there and throw it around a little bit and see what happens.
Well, Aaron, congratulations on the success you've had, and I do hope that within a short amount of time we do see SRO at the Steve Lloyd Family Foundation.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up the interview segment of SportsLook, so we'll clear this out, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. I was a double winner at the recently concluded 2026 Olympic Winter Contest because, according to 23andMe, I am 55% Norwegian and my ancestral homeland won the most medals in 2026. But according to my passport, I'm 100% American, and the United States of America finished second in the medal count. So either way, I was definitely a winner at the 2026 Olympics. Well, that will finish up in overtime, and that will finish up an episode of SportsLook. I'd like to thank my guests, Byron Pruitt from track and field, and Aaron Johnson, the events coordinator for Eastern Athletics. Had a new floor director, Miss Samantha, doing a great job for me. So for all those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.